mabala, wa bere Tebolankwe, wa bere kuba go rata ke magoši. Age. Zuma motlholosi. O bua bodi bana boswana, o bua bodi ba bošoro ga bo ukamele, ba bantši ba bo ukamele. Le lankgono ba sa ile ka dikotsana tša bona. Nqamalala motlholosi, nqamalala. Morena Zuma o bua nkantla, o bua Zulu Natal, o bua kwa ga bokgoši Shaka Maimele. O bua nkantla morena Zuma. Ke motho a boago madiba a maswana. Ke motho a bonkgoba go be kolaodi a matlakala. O re ko sha di senya tša manatla ba kgomo di bapola motho tšibogong. Morena Zuma o rata ke mang? O rata ke nna kgato a morula ke mmago letlape. Ke ngwana kgoši wa Matumula Lekgaba. Age. Kanto go tla ka ke. Age. O bua nkantla. Bare, nqamalala motlholosi. Nqamalala. Age. Oh.
There will now be an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. Please be seated.
Madam Speaker,
Yes, Honorable.
Madam Speaker, I rise on Rule of Order 14S to draw your attention to the fact, Madam Speaker, that the cell phone has been jammed. A device has been installed in the Assembly. I would submit to you, Madam Speaker, that this is in direct violation of Section 59(1)(b) of the Constitution. Madam Speaker, it's also in violation of 16(1)(b) of the Constitution and the Bill of Freedom to receive or impart information or ideas. Madam Speaker, the Democratic Alliance would like to request you to instruct whoever is responsible for this, because it was never discussed in Chief Whip's Forum anywhere, turn off that device and allow us to impart our ideas and our viewpoints as the Constitution, which was hard fought for, provides for. Question really.
We will make sure that the Secretary follows up on that issue.
Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Maimane.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Can I request that we want South Africans to hear ideas. We want to hear them the State of the Nation address. Simply cannot proceed unless we disconnect that blocking device. We want to allow, if you rule, Madam Speaker, that we must proceed with that blocking device on, we will challenge that ruling in Parliament, and if it needs be, we will take this Parliament to court, because that's unacceptable, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Maimane said we will have the Secretary to Parliament look into that matter. He will look into the matter.
Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Mulder.
Speaker, it's a pity that we have to start the proceedings in this way. Honourable Speaker, I would like to refer you to Rule 14(1) of the Joint Rules of Parliament. This is a joint sitting of Parliament, and this should be
open to the public. And in terms of Rule 14.1, the joint rules of the Parliament says, joint to the public, including the media. The media cannot do its work as long as the signal to do what they need to do is blocked. This has not happened in 20 years in Parliament. We were informed, Honourable Speaker, by members of the ruling party that they are not aware of this, that the officials of Parliament are not aware of this. I'm under the impression maybe that the executive may have something to do with this. This is the highest legislative body in this country. In terms of the Constitution, ma'am, proceed unless we are open, an open society, and in terms of the media as well.
Honorable Mulder, we have said that we are instructing the Secretary to look into the matter.
Honorable Speaker and
Honorable Shiba, while I am on the floor, can you please take your seat?
Are you going to note me though?
Take your seat.
Please note me immediately you finish that, because
Honorable
I want to give a concrete proposal on in terms
Honorable
of
I am talking. While I'm talking, you take your seat.
Please note me after that.
Secretary, can you follow up on this thing?
Honorable Speaker, noting that now you're not talking, may I please be allowed to talk and propose that we agenda house until we have dealt with this situation, and then we can be able to come back and continue under tolerable conditions, not under the current circumstances. I've made a proposal, Speaker, and Chair of the NCOP.
Honorable members, we are just waiting for the Secretary to come back and give us a response.
Honorable Speaker, the upper ma'am. No, Honorable Speaker, we've been waiting for the head of state for a very long time, over an hour. And there seems to be a problem with the water service. I'm terribly thirsty, and I think a lot of people are. Can we get the water service running? And we're waiting for the signal. We don't have water. There's a service delivery crisis here in Parliament.
Honorable Speaker. Oh, I've just received a tweet.
He wants a code.
Saying that the problem is not the network, the problem is the airtime.
Sorry, Madam Speaker. Sorry. Can I request that we... Sorry.
Shut down.
Can I ask that the mic please be working? It's not. Madam Speaker, can I request that we also look at the SABC feed? This is a matter that ensures that South Africans can get this information. The SABC, all news networks, it's about freedom of speech. Can I ask that we look into that as well? I would appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, I'm happy to report that according to the Secretary's report, the issue of the scrambling has been unscrambled. Secondly, the water is coming.
Honourable Speaker.
Honorable Mulder.
Honourable Speaker, I report on behalf of the Secretary, but this is a very serious matter and I want you to inquire after this meeting from the Secretary who was responsible for this of the democracy of this country.
The Secretary will indeed look further into it. Honorable members, the President has called this joint sitting of the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces in terms of Section 84(2)(d) of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, read with Joint Rule 7(1)(a), in order to deliver his State of the Nation address to Parliament. I now call on the Honorable the President to address the joint sitting. Honorable the President, we would like to apologize to you. These are some of the glitches we are experiencing because of the withdrawal of labor by some members of Nhanchengo. But we're checking on the mic from upstairs, it's normally operated.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The Speaker of the National Assembly, the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly and Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa, former President Mbeki, former President F.W. de Klerk, Chief Justice Nhanchengo, and all esteemed members of the judiciary, the Vice President of the Pan-African Parliament, Excellency Mr. Roger Kondo Dang, the Speaker of the National Assembly of the Republic of Tanzania, and Chairperson of SADC, Parliamentary Forum, the Honorable Anne Makinda, ministers and deputy ministers, premiers and speakers of provincial legislatures, chairperson of SALGA, the heads of Chapter 9 institutions, chairperson of the National House of Traditional Leaders, the former Speaker of the National Assembly, Dr. Freni Chinwala, Their Majesties, Kgosi Keru Molatlege, King Tony Peter Mpepu Ramapulana, Kumkani Mpendulo Zalonke Sitau, invited guests, members of the Diplomatic Corps, honorable members, fellow South Africans. Good evening, Sanbonani, Molweni, Riperile, Dumelang, Lochani, Khwenand, Dimategwana, Chin, Hois, it's not Chinese, it's a South African language. Yes. Madam Speaker, Madam Chairperson of the NCOP, I would like to thank yourselves, the presiding officers, for the opportunity to address the nation this evening. The year 2015 marks 60 years of a historic moment in our history when South Africans from all life adopted the Freedom Charter in 1955 in Kliptown, Soweto. They declared others that South Africa belongs to all who live in it,
a question of privilege.
black and white, and that no government can justly
Madam
claim
Speaker,
authority
I rise in terms of
unless
Rule
it is
14C.
based
Can
The
I be
Honorable
on the will
President,
of all the
Honorable
people.
President, I'm sorry to interrupt your speech. If the President would not mind just taking a seat so we can listen
Thank
to
you.
this honorable member's point of order.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I rise in terms of Rule 14C of the Joint Rules of Parliament 6th edition, the Parliament of the Republic of South Africa. On a question of privilege, may I proceed? May we ask the President as to when he is going to get the money in terms of what the public protector has said? That's the question of privilege. Would like to. And accordingly, since he has not been answering question, we hope today he shall answer that question. I thank you.
I would like to remind you, honorable member, that a point of order must relate to a point of procedure concerning the current proceedings. As you know, today's sitting is convened for a specific purpose. That purpose is for the President to deliver his annual address to Parliament. Members will have an opportunity to debate and respond to the address by the President and sittings scheduled for next week, including raising any related matters. So this is not a question. The Honorable, the President can resume.
Madam, I rose on a question of privilege, not a point of order, but of both. So the issue of point of order, you have addressed it, Madam Speaker. Of the question of privilege, can the question be answered, Madam Speaker, or be told that it is in the speech that he is going to tell us when is it paid by EFT, cash, or e-wallet? Thank you.
Honorable members are aware that each house has a procedure for asking of questions to the executive. This joint sitting cannot be turned into a question session. The President will be answering questions in the National Assembly on the 11th of March, as we've all been informed, and in the national provinces, questions to the President are provisionally scheduled for the 18th of March. Before then, members can always ask questions in reply. That opportunity is available to members on a weekly basis. Members should use those platforms for questions. This is in addition to the interaction that will happen next week on the President's address. It is important that focuses on the business of the day, and that is for the President to deliver the State of the Nation address.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, I rise on Rule 14, Section C and L, on joint sitting of rules on point of order. We are of a view that the question deserves an adequate response. And we call upon the collective, this House to apply its collective memory to recall that the President has evaded to come and answer questions, not once, not twice, but more than 3 occasions. We're entitled to get answers to questions put before the President. And we insist that these questions, as we raise them, should be answered today.
Honorable members, I'm being patient with you by actually listening to your points in spite of the fact that I've explained that this is not the occasion for questions or points, whether of order or of privilege. This is a specifically sitting for the President to deliver his State of the Nation address. I again insist and to members to allow this House to proceed with the business of the day.
Speaker, Honorable Speaker, I am rising in terms of Rule 14C of the Joint Rules of Parliament on a question of privilege. Honorable Speaker, it is the privilege of this House and the privilege of the nation at large to be provided answers on the issues that have been raised previously. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, if you insist on this approach and keep raising questions, even after I have explained to you not once that this joint sitting is not meant for any of the issues you are raising. As I said, not a point of order, not a point of privilege, no questions are the business of this particular sitting. This is a special sitting asked by the President for him to deliver the State of the Nation address and the people of South Africa to hear. And this House has to proceed with the business of the State of the Nation address being delivered today, without hindrance by any of the kind of conduct that is being done in this House this afternoon.
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Malema, I don't think you are going to raise anything that is not covered by what I have said.
You are making a mistake because you are reading my mind.
Honorable Malema.
Allow me.
Honorable Malema.
Please, Speaker, can I speak? Because
on what?
On the same points that the members are raising, you are not doing me any favor, and none of these people who are howling are doing me any favor. It is within my right to speak as a member of this House and remind you that it is incorrect of you to want to suggest that when the President speaks, you suspend the rules. The rules are not suspended, and the rules must apply even when the President speaks. And you have not answered the question of Dr. Vauda. Stop treating people as a group, treat them as individual members of this House and respond to them as individual members. The individual member that spoke, you explain he sat down. The other one spoke, you explain he sat down. When Vauda's turn comes, you say, I've responded to you, and you are insisting, and he was speaking for the first time. Stop treating people as a group. We're speaking as individual members. We want the President to answer a simple question. When is he paying the money as by the public protector? That's all we're asking.
Honorable Malema, you are not raising anything new. And what you are saying is still the same thing I've responded to, I've explained, and I've patiently been asking you, honorable members, to allow this House to proceed with the business of the day. And the business of the day is that the President will deliver the State of the Nation address. And I am not allowing any other member to raise any other point of order. I am not allowing you, honorable members, because I have explained to you that you are actually abusing.
Which rule are you using, Honorable Speaker? Which rule are you using to deny members to raise a point of order? They are protected by the rules.
I am now.
You cannot be emotional about it.
Honorable
Point us the rule which gives you powers to deny us point of
Honorable
orders.
Malema, I now ask that you leave the chamber.
Honorable Speaker.
I ask that Honorable Malema, you leave the chamber because it's clear that you are not prepared to cooperate with us.
Honorable Speaker, can you please assist us in the rules of the joint?
Honorable Shibambu, I have now
what rule
to ask you also to leave the chamber.
I'm still asking a question.
On a point of order.
I'm still asking
a point of order.
Honorable members.
I'm still asking a question.
Honorable
How do I leave before I get
I
the
have
answer?
ruled on the matter and I am now asking you to leave the chamber.
On a point of order, Honorable
asking a
Chairperson.
question.
On a point of order. On a point of order.
You have come here to disrupt.
Honorable Chairperson, I'm speaking.
You told the
I'm asking
country.
you to recognize me in terms of a point of order.
You told the country you.
No, we never
Now,
said that.
We have listened.
We never said that.
We
said we are
listened to
coming
you.
here
Allow
to
us to
behave
raise
within the rules.
questions. Not disrupting. Allow
We're not
us to
disrupting.
raise
Honorable
questions.
Malema,
I'm rising on a
leave
point
the
of
chamber.
order.
I'm not going to leave, Chair.
I'm rising on a
If you
point
are
of
not
order.
leaving the chamber,
I'm not working for you. I'm not
ask
here on your invitation.
that
I'm
you
elected
are
to be here.
assisted to leave
Never.
the
I'm
chamber.
not going to leave. I'm elected to be here.
You will leave the chamber because the chamber is for the business of today.
Exactly, we are
Chairperson,
doing
on
the
a point
business
of
of
order.
today.
On a point of order, Chair.
I will ask now
On a point of
the
order.
sergeant to assist
On a point of
Honorable
order,
Malema to
On a
leave
point
the
of
chamber.
order.
Honorable Speaker.
On a point of order, Chair.
Honorable Speaker.
On a point of order.
Speaker.
On a point of order.
Honorable Speaker, we don't care.
On a point of order,
It's
Chairperson.
a reputation of
I'm rising on a point of order, Chair.
Honorable Speaker.
I now ask that the sergeant at arms,
Honorable
the usher of the Black Road,
On a point of order, Chair.
the entry protection services,
On a point of order. On a point of order, Chairperson. On a point of order. My name is Honorable Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. I'm rising on a point of order. I'm a member of this honorable joint sitting. I'm rising on a point of order. Please recognize me. Chairperson of the session, Madam Speaker, can we be recognized?
Honorable Ndlozi,
Can
you
I ask you
must
to
also
recognize
leave
me?
the chamber.
Why, Honorable Chairperson?
Madam Speaker.
I am asking.
You can't.
Honorable Maxine,
You can't
you leave the chamber.
Honorable Chairperson, you are excommunicating us
You
illegally.
must tell
I'm
us.
going to do that. You want
Speaker.
Honorable Chairperson, you are not a bishop. You are a speaker.
Speaker.
Honorable Speaker,
Ask
Bishop,
that you
I'm
be
appealing
assisted to
to your
leave the chamber.
conscience.
Last time it was not
I'm appealing to your
conducive for the
conscience,
president to
Honorable
be here.
Speaker.
When
Please
did it become
recognize
conducive
us.
for him to be here?
Honorable Speaker, I'm rising in terms of Rule 14L, which says that, it states that at a joint sitting, a member may only speak from a podium, except to raise a point of order or a question of
Honorable
privilege.
members, you are not
All
going to block the
members of
state of the
parliament
nation
are allowed to
address.
raise a point of order.
I
or a
am
question
asking
of
the parliamentary protection officers to please come in and take out the honorable members.
Parliament. Children, we belong here.
Honorable
We want to speak.
we are appealing to your conscience. Hopefully, it still have revolutionary content.
the security officers to please assist.
But Honorable Speaker, we want to speak.
Manana Speaker, nikombela kupfuna. Manana Speaker, nikombela mini langu santa pfuna ina swin'wana. Manana Speaker. Manana Speaker.
Abulala umuntu omnyama ukuthi ashaya acindezele omunye umuntu omnyama.
Mini langu sale ngicela kupfuna swin'wana.
Speaker, can I talk?
Honorable Speaker.
Speaker, I'm the member of this house. Order. Will all honorable members take their seats?
The security forces must come in terms of the Powers and Privileges Act.
Members of the NCOP, take your seats. Take your seats. Members of the NCOP, Honorable Dlamini, Honorable Dlamini, take your seat. Honorable members,
Honorable Speaker.
Order. Will members please take their seats? My money, you are on what point of order?
I'm rising on Rule 14K, Madam Speaker, which states that in the event of a grave disorder of the I want to understand why, I want to understand whether the members who were sent in here to remove the members of the EFF, were they in fact members of the police service? And if that be the case, can I request that in fact we cannot simply allow for police to be allowed to enter this chamber. It is a grave constitutional violation. We want to be here to get the State of the Nation address, but we cannot violate this constitution of the people of this country by allowing the police in this chamber. We can't accept that. I'd like clarity on that matter, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Maimani, we have heard your point of privilege raised under Joint Rules 14.
We have indeed repeatedly called members during a joint sitting to heed the call, to take, to withdraw. We sent the usher of the Black Rod. We sent the sergeant at arms. They were all defied. We then moved on in terms of powers, privileges, and immunities to call on for the security services of Parliament to come in. We are also empowered by the same act to ensure that we can escalate, ask for security, whichever security, to act to support of POP. I think, honorable members, we should allow this House to do its business. I think that we have called the sitting of Parliament. It was not even convened by the Speaker and the Chairperson of the Council of Provinces. It is convened in terms of a request raised by the President for a very specific reason, to come and give the nation, ourselves, and the international community the State of the Nation address. I think we should be allowed, honorable members, to proceed with the business of today.
Madam Speaker, Madam House Chair.
The Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, not the House Chair.
Madam, I apologize for the disrespect. The Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces. May I address you, ma'am? Thank you very much for the opportunity. Madam Chairperson, the Powers and Privileges Act indeed confers powers on you in that regard. But no act passed by Parliament can supersede the Constitution. And I would like to, if I may, to section 199(7) of the Constitution. And I'd like to read from it, Madam Chair. Neither the security services nor any of their members may, in the performance of their functions, prejudice political party interest that is legitimate in terms of the Constitution, or be further in a partisan manner, any interest of a political party. Madam Chairperson, the Honourable Maimani asked a question. He wanted to establish from you which of those members were SAPS members. What concerns me more, Madam House Chair, with respect, is that there were members with firearms that entered the sacrosanct Chamber of Parliament while it was in session. Now, it's a bit to you, Madam Chairperson, that this is not a state of affairs. We don't meet bad behaviour with bad behaviour. Now, I would submit to you that that section that you've invoked is unconstitutional. And incorrect. And I would ask you to make a ruling on that.
The Honourable Pandor.
As the Speaker indicated at the beginning of this sitting is called by the President in terms of the Constitution. The disruption we saw was a direct violation of the Constitution. Thus, we should not therefore be selective as to when it's constitutional and not. The disruption of the President delivering the State of the Nation address in a sitting called in terms of the Constitution is in itself a violation of the rules with respect to joint sittings of the House as called by the President in terms of the Constitution. I thought you knew the rules very well. I suggest you read Rule 7 of the joint rules. Thank you, Speaker.
The Honorable Shenge, Honorable Buteles.
Madam Chairperson of the House of Provinces, I think what we have seen today is disgusting. I think our country is really pieces. And I think that the struggle for liberation didn't take place for people to play the fool like this with our country. I think what is happening is not really what we as the majority, the majority of our people who are in this House want to see in this House. And if there's any opportunity, if the Constitution allows us to vote, we put this matter to the vote. We can't have a few people indulging these theatrics, tearing our country apart, and using all kinds of poppycock to, what I regard as utter nonsense.
Honorable members, it is understandable that we will react to what we have just witnessed. It is also understandable that when any incident as we've just witnessed happens, that we will react. It is something which the rules of this parliament anticipated would happen. It is something which the voters of South Africa did not anticipate. Therefore, let's agree that such incidents will not be allowed to happen again in our parliament. And let us then take lessons from what day. Use the structures of parliament. If it means that the concerns raised by the members here are taken back to rules, let us use that route. But we are appealing to you to allow us to continue with the business of today. We want to continue with the business of today.
I really would like us to continue, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Maimani, we want to continue.
I'd like clarity on whether those were the police or not the police. I'd like clarity on it.
Honorable Maimani, use the structures that you know are available to you and let this House proceed with its business.
Madam, in that instance, Madam Speaker, if you can't confirm to me if it's not the police, what you are saying to me is that in future you'll use the defense force to escalate. Can I ask that our party be left outside of the State of the Nation address, if I could request?
Honorable Maimani, officers will not permit you to leave. If you want to leave, let it be the decision that you take as a party, so that tomorrow you do not say that these two presiding officers told you to leave the chamber. We did not tell you to leave this chamber. You want to take that decision, take it on your own. Honorable Steenhuisen, are you standing on a different point?
It's on 14S, Madam Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces. Madam Chairperson, we are calling attention to a point of privilege. It's not parliamentary convention for members of the South African Police Service to come onto the floor of this.
Order, members.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition asked you a question, Madam House Chair, and it's a very simple answer. Were those members of the South African Police Service members of the Parliamentary Security? And it's an important question because the Parliamentary Security Services report to the two of you and not to the Executive. The SAPS report to the Executive. So it's a matter of separation of powers and privileges of this House. And so I would just ask you, we really do want to proceed, but we will require an answer from you whether those members who came onto this floor with firearms were members of the South African Police or the Parliamentary Protection Services.
Honourable Steenhuisen, I cannot. Honourable members, do you want me to respond to you or not? The honourable members, I take it that the people you are referring to as having come on the floor of the House are the people who came in at the instruction of the Speaker to escort the members who were disrupting the House. Honourable members will remember that we sent in the order to the Black Road. We sent in the Sergeant of Arms. We then asked the Parliamentary Protection Services to go and help. We then said that the security forces working with Parliamentary Protection Services can come in. Now, please allow me to respond. You say to us that it isn't. Yes, it is not conventional. It is also not conventional for this House, a joint sitting, to be turned into a question session of the National Assembly. It is conventional. Yes, I agree with you, Honourable Steenhuisen. Can we proceed, please, with the business of the day? I have responded. There is no way I could, sitting here, be able to pick out who is police and who is not police here. Order, members. Order. Thank you. Please close the door. Honorable members, the Speaker and I want to, first of all, give our apology to the President. We apologize for what has happened in the House today. We also want to apologize to you members, to our guests in the gallery, to the country at large, and to everybody who has had to witness what has happened in this House today. We hope, as I said earlier, that it will bear lessons. Some education will come, and we will learn to do the things the right way. We wish to proceed, honorable members of today, and therefore call on our President to please take up his space at the podium, give us the state of the nation.
Thank you very much. Let me start where I was interrupted from. I was saying the year 2015 marks 20 years of a historic moment in our history, when South Africans from all walks of life adopted the Freedom Charter in 1995 in Cape Town, Soweto. They declared, amongst other things, that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, right, and that no government can justly claim authority unless it is based on the will of all the people. That was a powerful, visionary, and reconciliatory statement which set the tone for the non-racial democracy we have established. This week, we also mark 25 years since the release of Nelson Mandela from prison, and since the unbanning of liberation movements. The release of marked a giant leap in the long walk to freedom for the people of South Africa as a whole, and dealt a fatal blow to apartheid colonialism. We continue to be inspired by Madiba and draw lessons from his legacy as we build our country. Compatriots, the year 2015 is the year of the Freedom Charter and unity in action to advance economic freedom. It is the year of going the extra mile in building a united, democratic, non-racial, non-sexist, and prosperous South Africa. Also, the year of rededicating ourselves to eradicate racism and all related intolerances in our country. It is also the year of investing more in our future by educating our children and the youth about the rich heritage of this country. We already inculcating a new national identity through promoting national symbols such as flags, the national anthem, and the preamble of the Constitution in every school. from this year, schools must also practice the African Union anthem in preparation for the celebration of Africa Month in May, as we implement the African Union decision in this regard. Honorable members, distinguished guests, our youth is our future, and their success fills us with immense. I would like you to join me in congratulating my special guest, our ace Olympic swimmer, Chad Leclos. Chad received swimming's highest honor in December after he was crowned the world's best swimmer for 2014. By the International Swimming Federation, amongst many other outstanding achievements. I'm also hosting 3 special girls from Moletsane High School in Soweto. They are Offense Mahasha, Sengiwe Moletsane, and Tisetso Mashiloane. Offense and Sengiwe attended the last G20 summit in Australia and performed exceptionally well, making us truly tell you that in the tea I had with them yesterday, one of them said, if you decide that you want to be something, you must work hard and you must put your eyes on it. And she said she wants to become the president of South Africa. There she is, there she is. Allow me, Madam Speaker and Chairperson of the NCOP, to congratulate in absentia another star performer who has brought glory to our country, Miss World, Miss Ronelle Strauss. I would also like to introduce another special guest, the country's of the year and Banyana Banyana striker, Miss Portia Modise. Congratulations, Portia. Honorable members, distinguished guests, I would like to thank all who took their time to contribute to SONA 2015. In terms of the inputs, our people are concerned about, amongst others, crime, roads, access to education, youth internship schemes, electricity, and support for small businesses. contributions requiring feedback being referred to government departments for action. These contributions, as you know, emerged because I asked the country to make suggestions about what the president must say. These are the contributions which came as a response to that. Honorable members and honorable guests, we meet yet again during a difficult economic climate. This week, the IMF revised down to 3.5% the GDP growth forecast for global growth in 2015. Our ambition of achieving a growth target of 5% in 2019 is at risk because of the slow global growth as well as domestic constraints in energy, skills, transport and logistics, amongst others. However, the situation is more promising on the jobs front. 2 days ago, State South Africa released the employment figures for the last quarter of 2014. The report shows that there are now 15.3 million people who are employed in South Africa. Jobs grew by 203,000. Our investment in youth employment is also paying off. The employment tax incentive, which was introduced last year, directed mainly at the youth, is progressing very well. R2 billion has been spent to date by some 29,000 employers who have for at least 270,000 young people. I announced a target of 6 million work opportunities over 5 years last year for the program. We have thus far created more than 850,000 work opportunities. This means that we are poised the annual target of 1 million job opportunities. In addition, our environmental programs, such as working on waste, working for wetlands, working for water, and working for fire, have created more than 30,000 work opportunities and aim to create more than 60,000 during the next financial year. Compatriots, our economy needs a major step forward. We would like to share with you our 9-point plan to ignite and create jobs. These are: 1, resolving the energy challenge; 2, revitalizing agriculture and the agro-processing value chain; 3, advancing beneficiation or adding value to our mineral; 4, more effective implementation of a higher impact industrial policy action plan; 5, encouraging private investment; 6, moderating workplace conflict; 7, unlocking the potential of SMMEs, cooperatives, township and rural enterprises. 8, state reform of boosting the role of state-owned companies, ICT, infrastructure or broadband rollout, water, sanitation, and transport infrastructure, as well as 9, Operation Pakisa aimed growing the ocean economy and other sectors. Compatriots, the country is currently experiencing serious energy constraints, which are an impediment to economic growth and is a major inconvenience to everyone in the country. Overcoming the challenge is uppermost in our program. Doing everything we can to resolve the energy challenge. Bakwethu uhulumeni wenza konke okusema akhe ukubhekana nesimo sokuncipha kukagesi ezweni. Siyazi ukuthi lesi isikhathi esinzima kodwa sizodlula ngoba sinezindlela eziningi kusebenza nokubhekana nalenkinga. We have developed a plan which involves both short, medium-term, and long-term responses. The short and medium-term plan involves improved maintenance of ESCOM power stations, enhancing the generation capacity, and managing the electricity demand. The long-term plan involves finalizing energy security master plan. As a priority, we are going to stabilize ESCOM's finances to enable the utility to manage the current period. In this regard, government will honor its commitment to give ESCOM around 23 billion rand in the next fiscal year. The war room established by Cabinet in December is working diligently around the clock with ESCOM to stabilize the electricity supply system and contain the load shedding. During this period, we have to work together to find solutions. We urge all individuals, households, industries, government departments to save electricity in order to reduce the need for load shedding. Department of Public Works has been instructed to ensure that all government-owned buildings are energy efficient. Given the high cost of diesel, ESCOM has been directed from diesel to gas as a source of energy for the utilities generators. Households are also being encouraged to switch from electricity to gas, cooking, heating, and other uses. The construction of the 3 new power stations, Kusile, Mutubi, and Ingula, will add 10,000 megawatts of capacity to the national grid. The quest for alternative energy sources is also ongoing. To date, government has procured 4,000 megawatts independent power producers using renewable sources. First 3 bid windows of the renewable energy procurement process attracted more than 140 billion rand from private investors. A total of 3,900 megawatts of renewable energy has also been sourced, with 32 projects with a capacity of just over 500 megawatts completed and connected to the grid. Eskom itself has completed the construction of the Sere Wind Farm, which is already delivering 100 megawatts to the grid, well ahead of its launch in March this year. Government also began procuring in December 2014 of 2,400 megawatts of new coal-fired power generation capacity from independent power producers. The procurement process for 2,200 megawatts of new gas-fired generation will commence in the first quarter of the new financial year. A total of 1,600 megawatts of hydroelectric capacity will be sourced from the SADC region. With regards to the long-term energy master plan, we will pursue gas, petroleum, nuclear, hydropower, and other sources as part of the energy mix. South Africa is surrounded by gas-rich countries, while we have discovered deposits in our own Karoo region. The Operation Pakisa Ocean Economy Initiative, launched last year, also promises to unveil more oil and gas resources, which will be a game changer for our country and region. Government is also exploring development of the 9,600 megawatts nuclear build program as approved in the Integrated Resource Plan 2010 to 2030. To date, government has signed intergovernmental agreements and carried out vendor parade workshops in which 5 countries came to present their proposals on nuclear. These include the United States of America, South Korea, Russia, France, and China. All these countries will be engaged in a fair, transparent, and competitive procurement process to select a strategic partners to undertake the nuclear build program. Our target is to connect the to the grid by 2023, just in time for Eskom to retire part of its power plants. With regards to hydropower, the Grand Inga hydroelectrical project, partnership with Democratic Republic of Congo, will generate over 48,000 megawatts of clean hydroelectricity. South Africa will have access to over 15,000 megawatts. For sustainability, government will establish strategic partnerships for skills development with the countries that will partner us in the Energy Build program, while also generating skills locally. Compatriots, there are still 3.4 million households in the country without electricity. In the June 2014 SONA, I announced that infrastructure support will be given to specific municipalities in the country. Funding has been provided for electrification to the following municipalities in the 2015 to 16 financial year. Amatole District Municipality, Umzenyati District Municipality, Alfred Nzo District Municipality, Lukanji Municipality, and OR Tambo District Municipality. Fellow South Africans, while tackling the energy challenges in our country, we also need to fight copper cable and metal theft. Government will introduce tougher measures with this serious crime. Compatriots, during this year of the 60th anniversary of the Freedom Charter, land has become one of the most critical factors in achieving redress for the wrongs of the past. Last year, we reopened the second window of opportunity for the launch of land claims. More than 36,000 land claims have been lodged nationally, and the cutoff date 2019. We are also exploring the 50-50 framework, which proposes relative rights for people who live and work on farms. "50 farming enterprises will be identified as pilot projects. In terms of our new proposed laws, a ceiling of land ownership will be set at a maximum of 12,000 hectares. Cheers. Foreign nationals will not be allowed to own land in South Africa. But will be eligible for long-term lease. In this regard, the Regulation of Land Holdings Bill will be submitted to Parliament this year. Through the Land Reform Program, more than 90,000 hectares of land have been allocated to smallholder farmers, farm dwellers, and labor tenants. The process of establishing the Office of the Valuer General is underway, which is established in terms of the Property Valuation Act. Once implemented, the law will stop the reliance on buyer willing seller method in respect of land acquisition by the state. Compatriots, agriculture is a catalyst for growth and food security. We are working with the private sector to develop an agriculture policy action plan which will bring 1 million hectares of utilized land into full production over the next 3 years. Among key interventions this year, we will promote the establishment of agri-parks or cooperatives and clusters in each of the 27 poorest district municipalities to transform rural economies. An initial funding of 2 billion rand has been made available for the April Park initiative. We will further enhance our agro-processing exports, which have been growing rapidly, especially to new markets in Africa and China. For an example, we have concluded agricultural trade protocols for the export of South African maize and apples to China. The export of apples alone is projected to generate 500 rand in foreign exchange over 3 years. A good story to tell. Culture. Is the success of some of our emerging farmers and smallholders. In the Vemba district municipality in Musina, the Limpopo government has supported Nwanedi cluster comprising 300 farmers growing vegetables on just over 1,300 hectares for commercial purposes. The cluster has already created more than 2,500 jobs, as vegetable farming is highly labor intensive. We are happy to have in our midst today the winner of the 2014 Agricultural Top Female Entrepreneur Award, Ms. Nokwa Mzamo from in the Eastern Cape. Madam Speaker and Madam Chairperson. Our interventions to support the manufacturing sector are bearing fruit. Our automotive investment scheme has unlocked private sector investment of 24.5 billion rand, exports of automotives and components of 103 billion rand in 2013. We have built a world-class auto sector on the African continent, exporting to over 152 countries. The leather and footwear sector has also grown to 60 million pairs of shoes, and exports grew by 18% with significant benefit to the balance of trade. The United Nations Conference on Trade and Development shows that South Africa doubled its foreign direct investment inflows to 88 billion rand in 2013, while 2014 projections are also positive. The manufacturing sector was hit hard by the global financial crisis. Government committed more than 2.8 billion rand to companies in the sector through the Manufacturing Competitiveness Enhancement Program. We are very pleased with the response of our manufacturers, who committed over 12.4 billion rand in private sector investment. It is a very good story to tell indeed. To advance transformation, we have introduced the program to find and develop black specialists over 3 years. Compatriots, given such success in manufacturing, we are poised to make progress in our quest to ignite growth. Madam Speaker and Madam Chairperson, to attract foreign skills for our growing economy, we'll invite dialogue with various stakeholders on the education policy. We'll also prioritize the review of visa regulations to strike a balance between national security and growth in tourism. Compatriots and friends, in the June 2014 SONA, I spoke about the need to stabilize the sector and to promote a stable labor environment. We had been concerned then with the spate of long and sometimes violent strikes. The implementation of a number of programs under the Framework Agreement for a Sustainable Mining Industry has caused relative stability and optimism in the mining sector, which is the backbone of our economy. Mine crime combating forums have been established in the Northwest, Limpopo, Free State, Mpumalanga, and Gauteng provinces. We implement the agreements reached with business and labor, including the consideration of a national minimum wage. We had also made a commitment in last year's SONA to revitalize distressed mining towns, and a lot of progress has been made. A total of 2.1 billion rand has been ring-fenced for this purpose, with 290 million rand approved for informal settlement upgrading in Mpumalanga, Gauteng, Northern Cape, Limpopo, and the Free State. $133 informal settlements are being assessed or prepared for upgrading through the National Upgrading Support Program. 32 settlements are being upgraded and 87 housing projects are being implemented across the prioritized mining towns. Importantly, government, the mining sector, and the Banking Association of South Africa signed a social contract for the development of sustainable human settlements. Government also continues to provide social development support within mining communities. Other support includes technical expertise with regards to integrated development plans and the development of special economic zones. The mining towns are also being assisted with implementing to basics municipal service delivery strategy. Indeed, a lot is being done to build our mining towns. Government is also reviewing the compliance of mining companies with the 2014 Mining Charter targets. I referred the Mineral and Petroleum Resources Development Act back to Parliament to enable the correction of some constitutional shortcomings and other compatriots. Responding to business requests, government has synchronized environmental impact, water and mining rights applications, and has set a maximum of 300 days for all of these authorizations to be issued. In addition, we will also establish a one-stop interdepartmental clearinghouse to attend to investor compliance, to complaints and problems. Fellow South Africans, the year 2015 will see further improvements in labor legislation to further promote worker rights. The Labor Department review the sectorial determinations of agriculture, forestry, private security, wholesale, and retail. We expect the finalization of the Employment Services Act of 2014, which formally establishes a public employment service. The legislation also formally regulates of private employment agencies and temporarily employment services to prevent the abuse of unsuspecting work seekers. In addition, the Unemployment Insurance Act of 2001 will be amended to provide benefits to beneficiaries and include public servants in the application of the Act. Honorable members and honorable guests, small business is big business. Government will set aside 30% of appropriate categories of state procurement for purchasing from SMMEs, cooperatives, as well as township enterprises. We'll also continue to promote opportunities for the youth. The National Youth Development Agency has disbursed 25 million rand, 765 youth-owned micro enterprises in the last financial year nationally. The agency has also partnered with the IDC and the Small Enterprise Finance Agency in a three-way partnership that has resulted in a 2.7 billion rand fund for young people. Compatriots, the year 2015 will mark the beginning of the first phase of broadband rollout. Government will connect offices in 8 district municipalities. These are Dr. Kenneth Kaunda in Northwest, Gerrit Sibande in Mpumalanga, O.R. Tambo in the Eastern Cape, Pixley Kaseme in the Northern Cape, Thabo Mfusanyana in the Free State, Umgungundlovu and Umzinyati in KwaZulu-Natal, and Vembe in Limpopo. Government has also decided to designate Telkom as the lead agency to assist with broadband rollout. As part of igniting growth through supporting state-owned companies, processes are underway, and a 90-day turnaround strategy aimed at stabilizing the finances of South African Airways. Accordingly, some of the international routes will be phased out. But we will do this in a manner that does not impact negatively on travel, trade, and tourism between South Africa and the world. Compatriots, the National Infrastructure Program continues to be a key job driver and catalyst for economic growth. Water is a critical resource for economic growth and a better life. several projects aimed at providing water for and household use are in the implementation or planning phases around the country. Major include Umzimvubu Water Project in the Eastern Cape, Jozini Dam in Umkhanyagu, Natal, and projects in Bushbuck Ridge in Mpumalanga, and phase 1 of the Mokolo Crocodile Water augmentation in Limpopo. Progress is being made to improve the water supply that had been affected by shortages such as Makana District Municipality in the Eastern Cape, Ngaka Mulema District Municipality in Northwest, and Kiani in Limpopo, where we celebrate the delivery of water to 55 villages in October this year. Let me, Honorable Speaker and Chairperson of the NCOP, urge all in the country to conserve water. Every drop counts. The country loses even billion rand a year to water. Country loses 7 billion rand a year to water losses. To mitigate this challenge, government, through the of water and sanitation, will train 15,000 artisans or plumbers who will fix leaking taps in their local communities. We are happy to have as our special guest the winner of the Women in Water Conservation, Miss Mapule Pokombe from Mahikeng in Northwest. She helped me to explain why Mafikeng is now called Mahikeng. I now know. The infrastructure program continues to expand transport networks and to improve, which augurs well for economic growth. The Department of Transport will spend about 9 billion rand on the provincial roads maintenance grant or the Seham program, and 11 billion rand on upgrading and maintaining roads which are not tolled. Over 6 billion rand will be spent in 13 cities on planning. Building and operating integrated public transport networks during this financial year. We will also continue to improve the infrastructure in schools and higher education institutions to create a conducive environment for learning and teaching. Through the accelerated school infrastructure delivery, which is part of the National Infrastructure Plan, 92 new schools have been completed to date and 108 are under. Siyaqhuba. About 342 schools have received water for the first time. 351 schools have received decent sanitation, while 288 have been connected to electricity. Siyaqhuba. Siyasebenza. We are at work. Dabukela bangekho abangasizwa. Yes. Government has identified 16 sites for the construction of 12 new technical and vocational education and training college campuses and the refurbishment of 2 existing campuses. Work is also continuing to establish brand new universities, Solplaki in the Northern Cape, the University of Mpumalanga, and the Sefaku Makhatu Allied and Health Sciences University. We continue to deliver houses to our people. By 30 September 2014, a total number of 50,000 houses were delivered in the subsidy and affordable housing segments. Government will also provide 5,000 housing opportunities for military veterans government, the veteran now. Government will also work to eradicate the backlog of title deeds for pre- and post-1994 housing stock. Madam Speaker and Madam Chairperson, we have, in the past year, introduced some innovative programs to implement the National Development Plan. Last year, we launched Operation Phakisa, a results-driven laboratory approach to planning and execution of programs. Operation Phakisa on the ocean economy is aimed at unlocking opportunities in the shipping, fisheries, aquaculture, mining, gas, biotechnology, and tourism sectors. We have committed 9.2 billion rand investment and oil exploration in the port of Saldanha as part of the Operation Phakisa initiative. Operation Phakisa on scaling up the Ideal Clinic initiative is aimed at promoting efficiency, effectiveness, and professionalism in clinics. We will now explore Operation Phakisa in the mining. I have instructed government to partner with the mining sector to develop win-win solutions to beneficiate our mineral resources. Patriots and friends, over the past 5 years, government has scored significant gains in healthcare. This year, we are going to launch a massive program to turn the tide against tuberculosis, TB, with a special focus on communities. Offenders at correctional services, facilities, mine workers, and communities in mining towns. In fighting the scourge of HIV and AIDS, the state-owned company, Ketlapela, yeah, Ketlapela. Ngifundisa isiZulu. Has been and will participate in the supply of antiretrovirals to the Department of Health. Madam Speaker and Madam Chairperson, we have to continue working harder together to fight crime and to create safer communities. We are making progress in fighting crime against women and children. The SARS Family Violence, Child Protection and Sexual Offences Investigation Unit has secured 659 life sentences against perpetrators of crimes against women and children. We are a democratic state and recognize the community's right to protest. We, however, appeal that these should be within the ambit of the law and must be peaceful as stated in the Constitution. The police successfully brought under control 13,570 recorded public order incidents, comprising 1,907 unrest-related and 11,668 peaceful incidents. The fight against corruption continues to be taken forward by the Anti-Corruption Interministerial Committee. Government has in place 7 anti-corruption institutions and 17 pieces of legislation which are intended to combat corruption. This demonstrates a concerted effort by government to break the back of this scourge in the country. In the 2013 to 2014 financial year, 52 persons were convicted in cases involving more than 5 million rand. 31 public servants were convicted in the first quarter of 2014 to 2015, and freezing orders to the value of 430 million rand were obtained. To prevent corruption and promote ethical governance, in December, I signed into law the Public Administration and Management Act, which, amongst others, prohibits public servants from doing business with the state. Compatriots, Cabinet has adopted vigorous and integrated interventions to combat the vicious rhino poaching in the country. The interventions include continuous joint operations with key neighboring countries, intelligence gathering, as well as enhancing protection in parks and provincial services where are present. Government has also made substantial progress in establishing a border management agency to manage all ports of entry and improve security. To further improve access to identity documents, citizens will be able to apply for the new Smart ID card at their local bank due to partnership between the Department of Home Affairs and some banks in the country. Madam Speaker and Madam Chairperson, building a caring, effective, and state will continue to be prioritized. In the 2014 SONA, I said we would continue to advance and improve the lives of people with disabilities. In December last year, Cabinet released the National Disability Rights Policy for public comment. Compatriots, local government is everybody's business. We have to make it work. We have launched the Back to Basics program to promote good governance and effective administration through cutting wastage, spending public funds prudently, hiring competent staff, and ensure transparency and accountability in municipalities. The Integrated Urban Development Framework, announced in the SONA June, has been approved by Cabinet. Fellow South Africans, to contribute to building a better Africa, South Africa continued to support peace and security and regional economic integration in the continent. A number of key outcomes have resulted. The African capacity for immediate response to crisis, ASRIC, of which South Africa is a contributing and founding member, has been operationalized. The South African National Defence Force and SA Police continued to participate diligently in the conflict prevention and peacekeeping in the continent. South Africa also continued to support conflict resolution initiatives in Lesotho, Sri Lanka, and South Sudan by the Deputy President. Economic cooperation with our BRICS partners was strengthened when the first two intergovernmental agreements were concluded on the occasion of the 6th BRICS Summit. This was on the new development bank and the treaty establishing a contingent reserve arrangement. Madam Speaker and Madam Chairperson, countries of the developed North remain important strategic partners for South Africa, through which the country is able to advance its national and foreign policy. We have a valuable partnership with the European Union in, amongst others, the Infrastructure Investment Program for South Africa, valued at approximately 1.5 billion rand. The renewal of the African Growth and Opportunity Act beyond September 2015 and a pledge to support African-led peace initiatives in the continent are among the significant outcomes of the United States Africa Leadership Summit held in the US last year. Compatriots, at a multilateral level, 2015 marks the 70th anniversary of the United Nations, which brings into sharp focus the need to transform the UN Security Council and the other international institutions. Compatriots, national liberation heroes Moses Kotane, Marx, will be buried in South Africa in March. These will be reburials. As you know, they were buried in Russia, and they're coming back home. We thank the government and people of the Russia Federation for looking after the remains of our heroes with dignity for so many years. In sports, Team South Africa will participate in all Africa Games in Congo, Brazzaville in 2015. The Springboks will participate in the IRB World Cup that takes place in England in September 2015. The Proteas are in Australia and New Zealand to participate in the International Cricket Council Cricket World Cup. All South Africans must, as usual, rally behind the national teams. We must also appreciate our Bafana Bafana. I think you'll agree with me that this time around they qualified with flying colors. They were in the group which is called the group of... But even there, most of the games they scored first. We must give them support. Absolutely. They made us proud. Honorable members, we will continue to promote healthy lifestyle and to urge citizens to refrain from smoking and the abuse of alcohol and drugs. We are yege. In this regard, 10th of May, we will mark the move for Health Day, and international event promoted by the World Health Organization. The day also coincides with the anniversary inauguration of President Mandela. Compatriots, fellow South Africans, a lot has been achieved in the past year. We believe that our 9-point economic intervention plan on the economy will consolidate the achievements and ignite much needed growth. During this year of the Freedom Charter and Unity in Action to advance economic freedom, we rededicate ourselves to unity and hard work to ensure continuous success in our beautiful country. Together, we move South Africa forward. I thank you. Jacob.
Honorable members, order. Members, we take this opportunity to thank the President for the patience and for delivering on the State of the Nation address. I also want to take this opportunity to make this following announcement. It is that after the joint sitting, members and guests should please remain seated at their places until the procession has left the chamber. The guests in the gallery should remain seated until they are guided to the doors that will have been opened. The Sergeant at Arms will lead the procession, followed by the usher, in this following order: the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, the President, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, the Deputy President, the Secretary to Parliament. Honorable members, this concludes the business of the day, and this joint sitting is adjourned.